Welcome back, and thanks for joining me for a garden episode today.
So unexpectedly, I've got seed potatoes. I had a whole bag of potatoes in my pantry that started to sprout. They all look like this. So what I did was the first step in prepping them to plant. Gold potatoes just from the grocery store. They weren't organic, so I didn't expect them to sprout at all. But the whole bag sprouted, so I've cut them up. And then I'm keeping them covered to keep them out of the light. And I'm gonna do this for a couple days. The top tray and the bottom tray have slots for airflow, so it's not completely closed off for air. And after they scab over, I'm going to plant them. Step 2 in the process for my sweet potatoes is taking the longer slips and cutting them off so that they begin to root. This is a combination of what I did last year because I planted some because I was trying to grow sweet potatoes indoors, which didn't really work out. But I kept harvesting the growing tip off of them and leaving behind the slip so that it could continue to grow more. So what I do is I take a piece and I look for the places where you can see the vine is about to come back off. So right here in the joint, this would develop into another vine. This would develop into another vine. So I think I'm going to cut right above this one, and that this will continue to grow that way. And then once I've harvested it, I like to have it more on an angle. I don't know if that does anything. Again, it's just my preference. And I'm going to pull off all of the stems and flowers. I'm just gonna leave these last ones, and then I'm gonna plant this. If you weren't aware, sweet potato leaves are edible. So if you wanted to put these in a salad and a smoothie, you can eat the leaves of a sweet potato vine. What I've done is I've labeled the front of this so that I can try not to mix up the slips. Just tap water and then just place this in there. And then I'm gonna leave this in here for a couple of weeks till it gets a real nice root growth on it. And then I'm going to plant it in soil inside just to kind of keep the roots growing and keep them stimulated. But this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the slips on here that I'm going to take off.
For now, I'm going to place the slips next to the aloe plant and where I have the sucker from the Dracaena plant from my mother's. I didn't do anything special to them once they're here, but I really am hoping that they take off and grow a longer root.
Back outside again today, and I put mulch down here. I'm just gonna have grow bags in this area, starting with potatoes. So I'm prepping the bags, and I intend to have 6 bags of potatoes here. I mulched in over here, which is going to make it a lot easier when it comes to mowing and getting rid of the weeds and taking care of the lettuce that is going to be planted over here. I decided not to plant it on this side, but to put it on this side. And I have these poles in here. This is where I'm going to hang my ag fabric to keep out the cabbage moth and other pests from off of my leafy greens. A new addition to the garden are my cold frames. I'm proud of these. Handyman Dave and I put them together, but I'm proud of these 2 cold frames because they are made of entirely repurposed wood and plastic from in the yard. The only thing I bought new was the PVC that reinforces the door, but everything else in this was repurposed or already purchased. It is just the width of the board in the front, which is about 4 inches in the front and 4 boards in the back. It's got supports. I didn't film a video of making these because it is rough, but I will link a video up in the corner for you to click on for the gardener that I followed video. It was kind of just figured out on your own, but from what he did, I created these. And currently inside the grow or cold frame, it shows 79 degrees. It's actually dropping at this moment because it was hotter. I didn't have the door supported high enough, but this frame shows, I believe, 74 degrees. Yeah, this one shows 74 degrees. And that one shows 79 and dropping. So today's actual temperature is about 50. So it is keeping them pretty warm during the day. And in the evening, I will check and see what it's doing. Inside of my cold frame, I brought out my onion starts, my lettuces. Over here, I've got 2 trays of lettuce, and they're all different types of lettuce, and my rosemary I brought out. And I have to say, within a day of bringing these out, they do look better being out here in the cold. Over here I have more onion sprouts, and then I seed started basil, cilantro, oregano, and I'm going to be also doing arugula, spinach, and thyme. And lastly, over here, I also put the mulch in this area where I believe I'm going to put my overwintered peppers. So even though I haven't actually planted anything except for the stuff that's been overwintered, I am doing stuff in the outdoor garden. It feels great, and I can't wait for this 2022 season.